Welcome to the sixth episode of the Then and Now Blading YouTube channel, interview series, and podcast. Today I'm going to be speaking with Kevin Little. Kevin Little is from San Angelo, Texas. He's the owner of Sic Urethane. He's the editor of BMag, and he started a Donate and Skate series. He's also helped run the Texas Skate series for many years. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and hit the bell icon to be notified of all new uploads. Make sure to follow me on social media. I have all links below. I'll have all links to Kevin's social media and BMag, Sic Apparel, Urethane below as well. So we're going to get started with an interview. Kevin, it's great to see you. I haven't seen you in several years in person.
Good to talk to you, man. I'm honored to be here.
Well, thanks for being willing to join this show. I want to start out. So we're both from Texas, and you've been skating for a very long time. Since the 90s.
Yes, I am.
And you're from San Angelo, Texas. And San Angelo is not like most other cities in Texas as far as skate scenes go. It's a medium-sized city. It's pretty far removed from Austin, Houston, and Dallas, which are kind of the hubs. Right. And how did you get into skating in San Angelo? And how have you stuck through it all these years, being, I assume there's not a lot of skaters there.
No, it's true. Well, I started out probably in the 94, 95, and probably, I would say like 7th grade is when I started. Just had friends that had started skating, and I'd seen some of them that had been talking about like little things they were doing. You know, we had done recreational skating, like jumping crates and, you know, just making our own little box jumps and stuff like that. But they started modifying their skates and started calling it like rail slides and stuff. That was kind of like whenever, you know, the first early Hoax videos and stuff like that had come out, and you know, blading was suddenly starting to like kind of blossom, and that's kind of when we got our start. And there's a pretty big scene in San Angelo at one point, back in the early heyday. But from my friend Chris Zavala had kind of put me on to it, and he was one of my good friends, and he kind of just got all of our crew into skating, and it just kind of went from there. You know, some people had stopped over the years, and I'm the kind of the last of the Mohicans as far as like the blade scene. But luckily I got a good friend here, Matthew Bright, that skates with me. He moved up here from Detroit several years ago, probably 4 years ago, and he's a beast. He's helped me progress a lot as far as coming out and skating with me all the time, and he's always down. And you know, I don't have a big scene here. There's probably a good handful of skaters, but no one really skates that often besides me, him, and a couple of other guys. So
yeah, I remember seeing for years that you were putting out a lot of sections where you had to film yourself skating.
Yeah,
like tripod edits, because there just wasn't a scene besides you.
Right. And I still do it. I still love skating by myself. I mean, I still skate. Hell, I skated today by myself, you know, for like an hour or so before I jumped on this. So it's just what I do. I'm so used to it. I've been skating for so long, and it's just, I have my schedule, my blade schedule, like certain days I frequent and I skate the most. And I've just kind of stuck with it through the years. I just love it. And I make the time to do it regularly. Just it keeps my mental well-being good, and you know, physically I feel good, you know, despite my aches and pains that come with it. But it's just part of my routine. I love skating so much, and I'm so immersed in it now. It's hard not to still, you know, go out and skate, even though there's not many people to skate with other than my friend Matt and stuff. But
do you remember the first time you left San Angelo to go skate someplace else in Texas? And where did you go?
I do. I actually do. We had went to this town called Big Spring, and it's an awesome city. And there's a cool story behind it, because we had kind of, through blading folklore, we had heard obviously a champion. My friend Brett, he was like his second cousin or something like that. And we had heard about Champion, and he had basically had shot a bunch of his early videos in this town called Big Spring, which is an hour north of us. And it was in a bunch of old video grooves. It was in a bunch of like Dyna videos and the USD coup d'etat. And we had basically heard about these spots in the early, I think VG5, where like oh, someone had told us about this spot in Big Spring, and that's where these rails were. So we're like, oh shit, an hour away, we're going. So we went there and we saw all these spots, and there was even a little video groove sticker on one of the rails at this one auditorium. It's this famous rail in Big Spring, and it was just like we're little blade tourists and shit. It was hilarious. Just seeing these spots being like, oh, a champion did a back unity on this rail, and I don't know. We're just kind of goofy little grommets and shit, but it was cool. That was my first blade trip where we went out of town. Me and my best friend Chris Spencer drove his old freaking car up there. Pretty much just me and him. And Chris in his heyday was a badass. So he just we just killed all these spots and skated them as best we could, because yeah, it was a bunch of burly spots. So we can see why Champion went down there and filmed a lot, because it's in a valley, so everything's really kind of epic and big gnarly rails, and you can see like some of the stuff he did. And I don't know if people don't give Champion Bomb similar enough credit. The stuff he had did at this city is like stuff of legend. I mean, I can't describe how gnarly the guy was in his heyday.
That's really cool. I actually have never been to Big Spring. Did you ever skate with Champion back then?
Back then, no. I had, by the time I had kind of got around to traveling a lot, he had already kind of quit. He had been kind of semi-retired, and I'd kind of sought him out, trying to, get a hold of him and stuff. We had similar friends and acquaintances, and I ended up getting in contact with him years ago, probably like 10 years plus. And he had just started skating again. I was looking for people to skate with, and I was like, you know what, I'll come up there. Like, I went up there and talked to him, and he was still skating his old Cyruses and shit. And we basically had kicked it off, and he was this very cool, very modest guy. And this was years after, he had taken probably a 3 to 4 year hiatus and came back into skating. And I went up there to Odessa several times and skated with him. And once he kind of came back, I mean, he was still at his, I don't want to say his peak, but he was still very formidable on skates. Let's just say that. He was doing like 360 sweat stances on his first day back in like his old ass Cyruses. And I was just like, as like a little kid, I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, don't grom the fuck out too hard, but it's like watching your childhood idol kill it after not skating for years. I was just like, it was one of those, awesome moments. And I got to know Champion pretty good after that. So it was really cool.
That's really cool. He's definitely a legend in the sport. So
definitely.
You've been skating for, 25-ish years in Texas, and you've probably skated with every Texas skater that's been around. Who are some of your favorite skaters to skate with throughout the years in Texas? Man.
I would say the first person I ever met from out of town, and I have to say it was the coolest person, one of the coolest people, and one of the best styles. First person I ever met from out of town was Chase Rushing. Okay. His grandmother lived in San Angelo. He had visited, and I met him probably in 97, maybe 96. And even back then, Chase was just incredible. His style's always been good. If people ever question it, if people are like, oh, his style's just been good now, I'm like, no, he's been good for a long time. So Chase is one of my favorite skaters of all time. Obviously Andrew Broom is one of the best, one of my good friends. Some of my favorite people, Jason Zwack's one of my biggest influences. He doesn't get nearly enough credit in his heyday. He was one of the best. I could go on and on. Jason Howard, Mick Castles, fucking Anthony Medina. I mean, but honestly, like one of my favorites from Texas, John Sullivan.
Sully's amazing.
He's amazing. Always has been. Great guy, huge inspiration. And I mean, what more can you say about the guy? He's done pretty much everything like you could name. He won the first street contest in Texas, like the Boot for Loot, and he's still killing it. Like, he doesn't age. I swear he's like a vampire. Like, he doesn't. Like, he never loses it. He just gets better and better. So
yeah, he is a very talented skater, and he looks the same. It's like he said, he doesn't age. He hasn't aged in skating or appearance.
Right. I wish I could like hold up as well as Sully does. So yeah. So
well, maybe they got better water in Dallas.
Yeah, maybe so. You have to take an avion or something, maybe. So
Your brand, Sic Urethane. So it was
cool.
originally was Sick Apparel. You were doing
Yeah,
t-shirts. When did you
indeed.
start it? Why did you start it? And when did you transition to a wheel brand?
It's a good story. Sick had originally started out. I probably started out in 2000, and well, maybe even before that, because me and my best friend Chris Spencer, we'd always been kind of making our own designs and stuff, like drawing on, um, making our own decals and stuff. Like we always kind of emulated like what Senate and Medium and some of the earlier blading companies were doing, and we wanted to make our own brand, and we just kind of came up with Sick. And it basically, we started making Sick clothes and started making like our own little designs and stuff, and it kind of just went from there. Just organically, we started making our own and going to different contests and selling them, and it suddenly we made like a little team of skaters that represented it, and we just kind of kept going and growing from there. And we've been making all kinds of apparel for years, and we had basically gotten to around, God, I don't even know what year it was, but we had a like a dispute, like a copyright dispute from another company that was basically saying that they were trying to more or less dispute the name of Sick Apparel, that they had a similar name, and we already had ours registered, copywritten, and everything. But it was the way they spelled theirs in brackets and all this, and it was a kind of a conflict in basically their line and our line. So we had basically, instead of going to like court and having this big long like battle over like the name of it, they basically bought the name from me. So they, basically paid me for the Sick Apparel name. And this was kind of good because it was already around the time I was like wanting to get away from clothing and work into something else, like as far as like hard goods and working on doing something. And that was just kind of the catalyst to making Sic Urethane, because we wanted to make wheels at some point. And I was like, you know what? This is kind of just a perfect, kind of push to do it. So I was like, you know what? Screw these people. I mean, I'll gladly take your money and we'll just start our own wheel company. And that's where it started. We made our first wheel with Josh Glowicki. Our first little glow in the dark wheel we made. Was our first kind of jump into the urethane side of business. And it's been, rolling since then for probably 7 or 8 years now. So
I
yeah,
see
it's awesome.
that your recent wheels have sold out pretty fast.
Super fast.
When you get them
Yeah.
in, and one thing I noticed about your wheel company compared to other ones is you usually just do one wheel at a time instead of actually coming out with like a line,
Right.
of the whole team. Is there a reason for that, or?
Yeah, basically, I mean, we're a small brand, we're not a very large brand. We don't have a huge, financial backing, and that's just honestly the reasoning behind it. Um, we've just kind of basically sold the wheels as we go. I wish we had the, luxury to make multiple wheels at a time, but, we're kind of a smaller brand, and, we've wanted to really, believe me, we wish we could release more wheels at a time, but we kind of just take it at the pace we can. And even now it's even more difficult making wheels, considering like the production time to make wheels these days is just ridiculous. So
You're
post
getting your
pandemic,
wheels made in Texas, right?
yeah, we're going through A&D, which is the same company that like Undercover uses. So
And they
luckily
still
we
have
have
a long lead time there.
it's insane. They went from what used to take us say 2 months to get wheels made to now taking like damn near like 11 months, like 10 months or 11 months, which is ridiculous. So, I mean, we're trying to figure out other options because that's not really sustainable. When you're trying to like get wheels made in a timely manner and you have customers that are demanding it and team to
Right.
support all that. So it's difficult, and, we're thinking about other things, on top of wheels. And, eventually I want to start making other things besides just wheels, and helmets is one of the things I'm eventually going to, dip my toes into at some point, or
Well, that's
dip
a
my
great
to.
thing to make. Very important these days. All of us
Indeed.
old bladers need to protect our brains.
Indeed. Yeah, I had a traumatic brain injury years ago, and it kind of, provoked me to, start wearing a helmet. And ever since then, I've been really passionate about it. So I want to get into that at some point. I've kind of looked into it and what the requirements would be. I mean, there's lots of, legal guidelines, things you have
Right.
to follow to make helmets. You can't just, slap a, logo on a helmet. I wouldn't, I'm sure you could, but, don't want someone's life to be, in jeopardy over a product that I have. So I want to make it good and quality and, do it to the best of my abilities. So yeah, that's the way I want to do it.
So yeah, I'm excited to see more from Sic in the future.
Yeah.
Um,
Hopefully.
seems like you have good things going.
Mm-hmm. We got a new Luke nailer wheel in the mix right now, so that's in production. So we should see that hopefully soon. So as soon as they can get it to us. So low production times, but we're working on that, and we got a Jimmy Sizz wheel coming soon, and yeah, hoping to get as many wheels released next year as we can.
What about a team video? Anything in the works?
Yes, we want to make a team video, so we're working on that now. We're getting the guys to kind of push some footage towards us, and we were talking about getting everyone together and just maybe going out to somewhere, not the typical skate locale for a team video, maybe something, I don't know, trying to think something differently. I'd love to get the money. Big Spring, yeah, something like that. But I don't know, I think it'd be fun to get the guys out, do a big collaborative effort with everyone together and make it something, because it's been a long time coming. We definitely need to get something in the works. So,
well, when's the last time you made a Sic video?
10 years. I mean, the last video we made was classic. Before we even made wheels, we've never had an official team video, which is, we've had multiple times we've been working on some, and then we had tried to talk to one videographer to try to helmet, but it didn't fall through or work out the way we wanted. So I'd really need to maybe just take it on my own and, just do it to get it, get something in the works. So
Right.
Yeah, I finally have all the video equipment to support it. So I'm looking forward to, putting all that stuff to work soon and getting the guys out on the road.
Well, that's gonna be exciting.
Yeah. So finally, I got the freaking mega deal of cameras. So like my friend basically had kind of come up on hard times and sold me like a whole camcorder and a mirrorless camera, and then a ton of lenses and accessories for like $600. Like, I can't explain like how excited I was. I felt like I hit a gold mine. So yeah, you'll be seeing a lot more.
I saw the photo.
Yeah, you saw it. Yeah, you saw the breaking of this stuff. So I mean, it's ridiculous. So yeah, shout out my friend Lance Kaiser for the incredible deal on that. So yeah, you're gonna help, sustain the next Sic Urethane video and ongoing BMAG videos and stuff. So yeah.
I want to move on to talking about competitions. You hosted and helped host several contests in Texas over the years. When I moved back to Texas in 2012, there was Texas Skate Series was going on for a couple of years. Yeah. And Will Kennedy started, and then he sort of took the leadership on it, organized them. And at one point they were like in every city in Texas pretty much. How was that? How was organizing that event? How did it go? And why did it end?
Well, it was incredible. TSS, at its heyday while we were organizing it, it was incredible, being able to, make a good schedule and having so much energy as far as the blade scene going. And it made a great connection for all the skaters within Texas to, stay motivated and to travel. And, it was great for its time. And it still can happen. There's lots of things going on that have kind of prevented it from being more successful. There towards the end, or the last time we kind of been running, I think in 2018, we just had a bad string of luck where it was like an entire season. It was like 3 of the 5 contests had either gotten rained out or something had happened to where we were unable to do it. And it just kind of got frustrating. I'll be honest. I kind of got, because you put so much work into getting the contest going and to get sponsors and to go down and find all the spots. It just kind of got a little bit overwhelming, once I started taking over additional responsibilities. I'm a father, I got 2 kids. and a wife at home, and traveling so often, and then not just traveling and going to the contest, but you have to go down and organize all the contests and find all the spots and make sure that they will work, and you won't run into any type of pushback from the law, or whatever variables you have to run into when you're organizing street contests. It's a lot of stress, and it's hard to do, especially where I'm at. In San Angelo, I'm about 4 hours away from the closest city like Austin or Dallas, and it's just incredibly difficult to try to organize them. But we're trying to make it happen again next year. We were going to do it this November, but we ran into several different contests that kind of would be conflicting for us. So, but me and Ray Stoto were working to try to bring it back and get at least one good hurrah, a year, one good street contest, so we can kind of keep that TSS, legacy alive.
Yeah, that'd be great to see that again. I remember I went to several of those contests over that period, but the most memorable one for me was in Austin, where we ended up at Barton Creek afterward, jumping off the cliffs and swimming.
That was awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah, and it's so great, it's like, and that's what I miss the most is just seeing all of our friends together. It's like the contests are great and the skating gets pushed to such a high level, and that's amazing, but also it keeps us connected so much more. And like even just being at the Blake Classic last weekend, it just reminded me of all the things that I missed so much. And with the pandemic, it definitely hit home more, like how valuable our brotherhood is, and how tight knit our community is. And it's something I miss, and that makes me want to get the TSS going even more, and get the Donate and Skates going more, and bring that back, because there's a lot of people that were clamoring for it. There's still a vibrant scene in Texas, and we definitely need to tap into it. We've kind of lost our way the last year or so, but lots of things going on, but we definitely need to bring it back. So I miss it for sure.
Well, another event you've been doing is the Donate and Skate, which, when did you start it, and what was your reason for starting it, and what is it exactly?
Well, Donate and Skate, we started probably the competitive series was about 2012, I would say. So it's been almost damn near 10 years now. So the idea behind it, Stefan Brando was initially the guy that kind of started Donate and Skate. And from him, I saw what he was doing as far as, taking old used skates and skate parts, and then, giving them to kids. And, I just had this idea that, we could do this in a competitive way, to where people donate used skates or skate parts as entry fees. And then it would also show, we'll assemble all the parts and get those donated to kids. And then also, while it's still fresh on their memory, show them, some of the best skating we have to offer in like a competitive way. So it's like, we can do two different things. So basically we can, give the skates to kids, but then also educate them on things like how to skate. We can have instructors there teaching them the basics of skating, the fundamentals of skating, and then also having a contest to kind of, pique their interest. It's incredible seeing, people, brand new eyes, coming into skating, trying out skates for the first time, and then also seeing someone like Andrew Broom flying through the park, lacing something just incredible. And it's just a great contest series. And, I've tried to work on getting it to kind of branch out into other areas, outside of Texas. And it's, grown pretty, far as other cities kind of taking up on it and doing their own thing. And I would love to see it grow even further and see other people do it as well. Like Alan Clark's done some up in like the Pacific Northwest, and several people out in California have done some, and even in New York City, people have done a few. And it's just great to see. I think blading would definitely benefit from having more people kind of taking similar, that kind of outline as far as skating, and using that to get more people started. It's a great tool to, kind of start the scene up. We've seen so much growth from it over the years as far as new blood coming into the scene. You give a pair of skates to a kid brand new, for nothing, and then showing them skating at a high level, it definitely gets people's interest for sure. So
I think it would be very beneficial to team up with Skate IA, because Skate IA has skate park instructor certification now. So if you had
yeah,
skate park instructors at those events actually showing the kids how to use the skates when you give them to them,
right,
and watch the people, so it could tie it
yeah,
in with that. And they do a lot of events, so maybe you guys could piggyback on each other.
yeah,
I don't know if you
definitely.
considered that before, but it just came to my
Oh
head.
yeah, definitely. Well, my dad even kind of like brought that up to me, as far as becoming more legitimate with it and taking it, kind of to a different level. Because he was like, if you're gonna do this, you need to do it, to the best of your abilities. Becoming certified, and working with the Skate IA and getting real certification. I've been doing classes for skating, but doing it with legitimate instruction and a background in it is totally different. So
Right.
making it more legitimate and having other things, and that's what's always kind of worried me as far as legalities behind donate and skate. Like, oh, what if I put a pair of skates together out of used skate parts and the kid hurts himself? Like, am I going to get sued by his parents being like, oh, you gave my son a shoddy pair of skates and now he's on life support or something? I mean, that seems like the most extreme possibility, but still, I've always kind of had that
I
in the
mean,
back of my
liability is a
mind.
big, America, it's a big issue. You can
It
sue for
is,
anything.
yeah, and that's what's kind of like made me apprehensive, at certain points as far as doing the donate and skates. I mean, I'll still do it. It's like I'm going to take that risk, but I always have that in the back of my mind as far as what could possibly happen.
Right.
You never know. I would hope that someone wouldn't necessarily hold me liable, but sometimes having the best of intentions doesn't necessarily prevent you from having stuff happen to you. So
Yeah, well, that's count your blessings. Nothing's happened yet.
yeah, hopefully that continues my stream of good luck. So we'll see.
Yeah,
But
donating skates, a very cool thing. I all thought it was a rad thing you've done with it, and I've been very impressed with like the turnout. I went to a couple of those events. It was just fun to see those kids, the looks on their faces, rolling around on skates for the first time.
it's definitely one of the like not crowning achievements, but the feeling that I get from seeing kids coming up and that brand new happy feeling of skating, it's something that you can't really describe. And just seeing their look on their face when they're getting a skate, if they can build literally, like they see some of the parts that they have and they can just kind of sit there and build their own skate and make their own skate from all the parts that we have. I mean, there's like a kid in a candy store, like going through all the stuff they have, and then they get it for free. And then, we try to come up with different ways to keep them in the know as far as skating. I've made little donate and skate like comics to where it kind of gave them like, how to stay in, contact with the local skate scene, giving them like the fundamentals of what a skate is, like breaking down what the parts are and ways to still stay engaged within the community. So just giving them skates is one thing, but keeping them skating is the next battle. So how do you reach out to them and stay in contact with them? Like finding social media pages and things that they can stay in contact with people, in their area. So that's also a big part of it also, as far as, you can give a kid a pair of skates, but I'm not trying to have these skates sit in someone's closet and not see any activity, so you need to like stay in contact with these kids, follow up with them, be like, hey, what have you learned lately? And that's part of it too. You have to kind of like stay engaged with some of these kids. And some of them, I have friends now that have still stuck with it after all these years. And I gave them a pair of skates like almost a decade ago. So some of them are still at it and some of them are still like, a part of the community. And that's just a great feeling, so it's cool.
Yeah, that's really rad. I'm super stoked to hear that.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you now about BMAG. BMAG is one of the oldest aggressive inline skating magazines that's out there. Started in Europe by Michael Bayer. Was a
Yep.
print magazine for a long time. Then it stopped doing print and it was more online and it was being run out of Berlin and there was a big team of guys working on it, photographers. Then that ended and it moved to the US for the first time ever. And it had an initial team working on it that's have kind of transitioned to you running it with Jonathan.
Jonathan Lebez. He's my right-hand man, the gruesome twosome. Me and Jonathan Lebez, we just actually got Sam Cooper just joined the staff actually recently as a contributing editor. So shout out Coop, great guy. So I'm getting to know him, more and more. So good dude. But yeah, me for the most part, it's me and Jonathan kind of running it. I am the editor in chief there, and Jonathan's our photo editor and design editor, and he handles a good portion of the Instagram and some of our photo content, and while I'm kind of more in charge of the main website and some of the other kind of day-to-day operations as far as like keeping the site going and stuff. So but it's an incredible opportunity for me as far as I've been a fan of BMag since it started. It's just like a small little website that was now they're 25 years in. So it's incredible now being, at the helm of something so historic. It's one of the longest running, media sources within blading, and me being at the reins of it's pretty wild. So yeah.
Yeah, and it didn't even start as a website. It started as an email magazine.
That's true.
Initially.
That's true.
So
thank you for the correction. Yeah, it was
so email magazine,
email subscription
out of Vienna, Austria. And so my question is, how did you become part of BMag? How did that happen?
Yeah, it's a kind of wild. I mean, it was more or less Ryan Lowy had decided to step down as far as editor in chief probably 3 years ago. And when he basically had decided to step down, I kind of threw my hat in the mix as far as possible, people that would want to be, his successor. And, I had a good working relationship with Michael Baer over the years. He actually was one of people I had spoken with. He was working with me as far as doing distribution for Sic Urethane out in Europe through Swank Distribution through BMag. For several years, they were helping us do distribution out in Europe and helping us. And then in talking with Michael, I had just kind of threw my hat into the ring as far as, wanting to possibly take over, the direction, and not even really wanting to assume, full responsibility of the, the magazine or site. But I just wanted to let them know, it's like, I would love to be involved more in the magazine. If, you're looking for someone to be, taking over or, help in any way, I would love to be able to do that. That was always one of my main goals and objectives, was to, eventually work to, working more within the, media side of blading, and doing some of the things that I'm doing now is essentially what I wanted to kind of start with and do for so long. That was kind of my goal, and, one of my, I don't want to say bucket list, but, one of my aspirations, kind of coming up was eventually, working towards that. And when Michael kind of gave me this opportunity, I jumped at it. So it was it's an incredible blessing, and I can't really say how fortunate I am. And, it's not something that I take for granted, as far as being in the position that I'm in, as far as, helping skating and, showing blading to the world. It's not something I take lightly. It's something that I feel very fortunate and blessed to be able to do that, and working with so many incredible skaters over the last few years has just been one of the greatest opportunities, and I just love it. It's great. So,
well, congratulations on that opportunity. It's really cool that you're at the helm of that magazine. Most skaters grew up with BMag. How much are you in contact with Michael?
Fairly often. We kind of stay in contact with them. For the most part, he kind of just leaves me and Jonathan to kind of run it as we feel fit. He's kind of has taken more of a back seat as far as other things going on. And he kind of like leaves us to basically, take the direction, and if we need him, we really kind of reach out to him. But as far as the direction, he's kind of is just kind of passed on, the torch to us and said, take it from here. And we've kind of ran with that baton as best we could. We've, stumbled and dropped it a couple times, but we're still running at it. So, but it's a small operation. People think that BMAG is this, huge staff of people, and for the most part, it's me and Jonathan. So
yeah,
I mean,
it's definitely the smallest that it's been. When it was in Europe, still even in Berlin, you still had a big team.
Right.
And it's a lot more easier to do stuff when you have a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, we're very fortunate that we have so many people helping us and contributing, footage and sending us links. And I can't say enough about all the, awesome skaters that still, submit to us and reach out to us and share their content. I feel bad sometimes that I just get so inundated with videos and content sent to us. I wish I had as much free time as I wanted to be able to share everything that I get. But there's, it's me, I'm one man, and, there's only so much we can do with the, time that we have. I work a full-time job on top of this. So I basically give BMAG as much of my free time as I can, what little free time I got.
I feel you on that. I've been doing a lot of the web media magazine stuff for, on and off for a long time.
Oh yeah. A long time. Yeah. So let me say, before we get any deeper into it, you've been doing this shit for a long time, and you've been one of my biggest inspirations as far as doing this. I mean, even from like, if y'all know about Scum Mag, is one of my biggest, inspirations. You had really kind of like developed and helped me, and as a lot of people, like content creators, as far as coming up with things over the years. You've been very influential, and not to break off from everything, but I just want to say thank you specifically, because you've been so immersed in skating for so long, and you've helped blading so much over the years as far as pushing skaters and being directly involved with development of skating on the media side, the product side, all that stuff. So I just want to give you your flowers while I got you here. So don't think
I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. It's been a passion project for almost 30 years, as you know, it's a lot of it's not really a place to make money, but it's like almost like volunteer work, because you're volunteering to help the sport grow. And I enjoy blading, and I enjoy the sport.
Charity work. It sounds terrible, but it's a love. It's all about what your passion is, and this is a labor of love. So I love doing it, I love contributing to it, and I love working with like-minded people such as yourself and all the other people that contribute to BMAG and help us maintain what we're doing and send us so much. And we got lots of stuff in the works. We're actually working on another print mag, hopefully by next year. So fingers crossed. We're already got about several features nailed down as far as content. We're still working on that. So if this is my plea, if you want to be in the new BMAG print mag, reach out to me. So this is my plug. Hit me up. Submissions, kevin.little@b-mag.com. Send me some submissions. So we would love to have any photographers or content creators. If you want to be a part of it and submit anything, my doors are wide open, and I'd love to see what y'all have. We want to make this as big as we can, and as diverse as we can. So we want the community to help out with it, and whatever we can, as far as if you want to help give direction or videos or whatever it is. If you have an idea and want to, possibly be in the next print issue, shoot it to me. I'd love to hear your ideas.
Great. Well, I have a link below in the description to Kevin's email address, so you can message him. And that's actually the question I was going to ask you about, was the print issue, because I saw Jonathan posted that he was looking for a designer for either a book or magazine.
Yeah.
And I know you guys did the fundraiser with the calendar, so put two and two together that you guys are going to be doing another magazine. And have you found a designer yet, or are you still looking for that as well?
Ooh, we've talked to several. I don't want to like say we've nailed anybody down specifically, but we've talked to certain people that have previous experience and layout. We've talked to several people. I don't want to mention names, Jeremy Beadle, but you should do it. Yeah, lots of people we want to get involved with, that we would love to, kind of continue on the previous BMAG legacy that have, maybe contributed in the past, but then also work with some of the, the newer crop of people that have been doing design work within the blading industry for the last few years. I'd love to get Stefan Brando involved in it. Hell, I mean, your designs are incredible. There's so many people I would love to, work with as far as getting them involved and, getting some original illustrations going with it and continuing on, this being a collaborative effort within the community as far as, contributions to making this magazine. I don't want it to just be, a small, select group of people. I want the world to be involved. Just like, I feel like that's the BMAG legacy. It's always been kind of an international representation of skating, at least for me. And I think a lot of people kind of feel that way. It's always been kind of very diverse as far as showing, various skaters and communities throughout the world. And I want to show that. So I want to continue that. So yeah. So submit some stuff to me, please.
Yeah, I mean, I love the idea of the magazine. I always thought that BMAG should have an annual, like annual print magazine, like an annual at the end of the year. And a lot of videos now are coming out with books, and there's kind of demand for print again. I feel like actual web media, like what I'm doing with Big Wheel Blading and BMAG and Blader Union, which stopped doing their website now, has transitioned a little bit with time. Like more people want to get on YouTube and do videos and look at magazines again. So it's one reason I started this channel, is I felt like I could reach more people through YouTube now than on the website. But I'm doing both, so I have both angles, because some people still going to cite it, but I feel like less people like to read online and they'd rather listen than before. So it's just the times have changed, and I think if you can cover all the bases with the website, the print, and I know you guys have a YouTube channel. I did see that there's an old YouTube channel for BMAG that somehow didn't get passed along.
It's been a hell trying to get the old BMAG login, because there was an old BMAG YouTube that we can't access. It somehow got lost in this weird purgatory of previous BMAG administrations where we can't access it. We've tried to, reach out to YouTube to get access for it. And after a while, we just kind of gave up because there was just so many roadblocks as far as getting it. And they wouldn't let us, for some particular reason, have access to the original BMAG. So we're like, you know what, we're going to start over. So we basically did that. I think last year we started, just a brand new BMAG, YouTube channel, and we're starting to slowly get more original content, towards that. So yeah, definitely hit a subscribe to us. We would love to, get some more subscribers on that channel, because we're kind of starting brand new and, from the very beginning as far as like our YouTube content, which kind of stinks, because there's so much vast, videos out there from our past, and it kind of sucked. We lost that, but still, it's out there. So
the biggest problem I've had, another reason I started this, is finding contributors for the Big Wheel Blading has been very difficult. I mean, I get some people who do stuff, but it's not like the old days where you had paid contributors, right? You did work for BMAG or Daily Bread, you got paid. So with people being older, it's harder to find people willing to work for free. So that's another reason I kind of went to this format, because I was waiting for people to send stuff in, it promised to send stuff in, and then they never send stuff in. And after a while, you're just like, I'm wasting time just waiting. So
it's difficult, and I know believe me, I feel your pain. It's like we get, we start trying to, create stories with people, and you go through all the process as far as writing interviews for people, and it never pans out, or you work on something and it never gets released, and it's difficult sometimes, and you're right. It's hard to leverage whenever you're not necessarily paying everybody. Luckily we have some stipends of where we can contribute. Like some people get assistance as far as like main features and stuff like that. We try as best we can with what little budget we have, to help out our contributors. But it's very difficult to hold people to helping provide content when it's for free, and that's where blading is at, unfortunately, right now, is where everyone's kind of working for free, and it sucks. It's like, and that's our goal, is eventually getting enough budget, working with more of our sponsors and attaining more revenue to where we can start helping more of the community, helping more of the content creators and providers, and funneling this all back to blading. We're not trying to get rich. We're trying to just help blading as much as we can. We're all doing this, out of the love, and none of us are getting paid. So basically, we do this because we love blading and we're invested in it, and it's a part of who I am, and a part of my character, and I wouldn't, give it up for anything. So, and I think a lot of skaters within the community now, it's special because everyone that's involved in it right now is in it usually for the right reasons. So it kind of funneled out all the bullshit, and now we're back to a place to where it's kind of the creme de la creme. It's like the people that are in it for the right reasons. So we're fortunate that we have so many like-minded, dedicated people to keep it afloat. So cool.
Yeah, that's very true. It's has been filtered out throughout the years. Everyone who's with it still loves it. You know, I mean, pretty much anyone who skates loves it, right? For the most part these days.
Let's hope, because if you're hoping to get rich off of this, you're going to be shit out of luck. So
I think those people quit a long time ago.
Yeah. So I mean, everyone's in it, doing it for the love right now, and it's incredible to see the sudden resurgence coming. Blading's popping back up, skating's becoming a lot more socially acceptable. Quad skating's playing a big part as far as helping bringing a different community together, and it's awesome to see. Skating on all fronts is growing, and we're finally at a point to where we can see it. It's almost the boom happened so fast, it's almost hard to kind of keep up with. So it's a twofold. It's like it's a good and bad thing. We're going so fast almost that it's hard to keep up with. So
well, COVID doesn't help.
No, it's a weird blessing in disguise. So, but yeah, we'll take it as we can get it. So
I think a big question on people's minds is going to be this. It's on my mind, so I'm assuming it's going to be on some other people's minds, is the magazine.
Yeah.
Are we going to go square or rectangle?
Oh.
Original BMAG square or the rectangle?
I would love to do the original square. We were talking about doing more of like a desktop, almost like a booklet, like a book, not like hardback, but more like a more official. We want to make it like, it's our 25th anniversary, making it more like, I would say rectangle shape, but more of like a harder cover, make it something a little bit special looking. So I would love to make it a little bit more higher end than previous years, but really we want to make as many as we can with the funds that we have, so but also not cut too many corners. So we're trying to kind of weigh our options right now as far as what we want to do, but I would love to have like kind of a nice desktop book. BMAG book would be incredible.
Yeah, so that would be phenomenal. That would be really cool. So I'm gonna have to wait on my Square magazine until the 26th year.
Yeah,
where you make your annual. Now, do you know why BMAG switched from square to rectangle? Let me rephrase that since I messed it up. Do you know why BMAG switched from square to rectangle? I know the answer. Do you?
I don't. You stumped me on this one, because honestly, I have no clue. I always liked the square format, but it didn't always lend to good photography either. It's like some things look better in a full view But the original B mags were pretty iconic as far as just the way they were shaped and all. But yeah, so fill me in. I want to know the history.
So I will fill you in, because back in the days of early B mag, Daily Bread, Box Magazine, Crazy Roller, all the magazines, they were all on the newsstands across the world. Square B mag did not fit above the newsstand, so they had to reformat the magazine so you could see it in the newsstand Rex. That's the reason it went from square to rectangle.
That makes sense. I mean, because I even had them in Hastings here in San Angelo, and I didn't ever see them. I had to kind of look for them, and I was one of those like weird guys. I would like take all the blading magazines and then put them towards the front. It's like the very first things you would see. Like I would block out Thrashers and stuff, and I would just throw some B mags or Daily Breads in front of all the other stuff to kind of get people to see them. But you're right. I can kind of see how that would be, bad for them as far as visibility, within the, stands. So probably smart that they did go back to a regular format.
Well, that's going to be a suggestion from their newsstand distributor, most likely.
Right. Well, luckily we don't have that problem. It's not like we're in any newsstands. We'll be sitting in pretty much in like skate shop, glass cases or something. So, I mean,
it's quality.
Yeah, exactly. So you can get right up on it. So yeah, it'll be cool. So I think regardless, it would be cool to do a square just to kind of be a tip our cap to our, predecessors. It would be cool, but yeah, it would be awesome. So
what about a BMAG video?
That's another one. It's like I would love to do another BMAG video. That would be, because I actually just watched one of the old BMAG videos the other day. I was thinking, just I had a little time where I was just feeling very nostalgic and stuff, and watching a bunch of old videos and watching, I think it was Us Against the World, one of them, I think. And I was thinking, why the hell don't we? It's like we have all this incredible content. We have all these people like reaching out to us. Like, why don't we? I would love to have another BMAG video going. I don't see why not. So, I mean, now it's at the point, like, I doubt we'll make like a physical DVD, but maybe we could still do like a VOD. Would be incredible. There's lots of skaters I would love to work with as far as getting something made. Maybe even something as far as like I know that Rejects did like an old video and print combo, which I always thought was like super badass. So that would be cool if we did like a little BMAG, video DVD or something like that, or hell, even like a little VOD link or thumb drive, something would be cool. Yeah. So
when I interviewed Chad Horner, she said he sold one of his pink videos at Winter Clash on thumb drives. He was walking around selling those.
I was one of the few that got one of those, actually. So yeah, Chad, yeah, good guy, and well worth the $5 I paid for it. And he even came in a cool little pink thumb drive too, which I thought was pretty cute. So yeah, shout out Chad, great guy, by the way.
So you had whispered Jeremy Baytall earlier as one of your wishes for designing the magazine. Yes. Well, I'm going to be interviewing Jeremy this weekend for this show, so I will bring it up with him.
Put a good word in for me.
I will put a good word in. I will say I know you, and yes. We'll see what happens, because Jeremy is a great artist, and I know he's very busy, but he finally got an iPad and is doing art on the iPad much faster than he had been doing by hand. So using Procreate. So that's pretty cool.
Which will come from that. So yeah, Jeremy's one of my favorite graphic designers ever. I would love to work with him in anything, So yeah, if we could get him to contribute in some way, shape, or form, I would be all down for it. Even we've talked about him doing like some of our like a collaborative BMAG shirt again or something. We want to do some more soft goods, and we want to work with lots of different graphic designers, but Jeremy's always been at the top of my list. So the stuff he's done for blading branding over the years is he's up there with Arlo as far as like iconography and all the kinds of stuff, the incredible pictures and designs that he's done. Like, I can't speak highly enough about Jeremy. So
Yeah, he's phenomenal. He is one of the best. I will agree with you on that. And he's a great guy. I stop in Pittsburgh a couple times a year to say hi to him. On my way back to Vermont, because my girlfriend's daughter lives in Columbus. So we drive through Pittsburgh to go visit Jeremy every time. But I want to touch on one last thing with BMAG, and that is SkatePro is your site sponsor.
Yes.
That deal was worked out before you were part of BMAG. Is that correct? Or was it when you start? And what, I know you sell products from SkatePro on your site. And what is their involvement actually with BMAG?
Well, SkatePro is kind of, they had purchased BMAG years past to kind of help it, as far as I know, kind of keep it running and stabilized. So their involvement with us is kind of, they help as far as like distribution and things like that. They help us as far as funding a lot of our upcoming projects that we have. They give us, certain funding as far as travels and as far as paying out some of the contributors that, provide us content to the site. And, we love working with SkatePro. They're an incredible skate shop. They're huge within Europe and have a huge team of skaters, not just in blading, but they support the culture, as far as the extreme sports culture so much. Like, I can't really speak highly enough about, SkatePro's involvement and how much they help us as far as contributing to some of the projects and keeping those going, and helping us get the funds to kind of travel when we need to and to create some of the original content. So we're very fortunate to have, SkatePro, working with us, and having some type of, financial backing is incredible, because it's, few and far between now as far as advertisers. We're very fortunate to have the, few sponsors that we have contributing for us and keeping us, afloat. If, speaking of which, if anybody wants to sponsor BMAG, feel free to, get in contact with, either me or Michael. We'd gladly, speak to you as far as if you want to get your, brand more widely viewed, on the website. We'd, be more than welcome to have you. So, but back to, SkatePro, as far as their help and assistance, they have done, as much as they can as far as helping us and, keeping us going, and, not being, up in our face as far as the way we should handle the website or things that, they basically let us have free reign over what content we create. And they still, see the value within BMAG, not just as keeping, current content alive, but also being more of like a library as far as skating, because, BMAG is, has so much vast content as far as previous history, and, keeping that going. Blading needs to know their history, and having a website like BMAG to where there's, a vast archive of skating history in there is something that needs to be preserved. So, we're fortunate to have, SkatePro's involvement and helping us keeping the site going and helping us stay afloat, and, giving us the essentials to keep it, the motor going. So yeah, shout out to SkatePro. So much appreciated, guys. So
that's rad. It's rad that they stepped in to help you guys out. You guys deserve it. Is the book gonna be ad free, or are you guys looking for sponsors for the book?
Oh yes, we would love to have some sponsors and advertisers, involved within the book and magazine. So if you want your brand to, be featured within the next BMAG print magazine, feel free to get in contact with me. We definitely want to, have as much involvement within the community as we can. And that's one of the things that we want to help, as far as not just the upcoming skaters and the established pros, but also the brands that are heavily involved within skating, playing a part. And we want to highlight those individuals as well, because we want them to feel like, their contributions are seen and heard, and, everyone to be able to, get their views. And, that's another thing we're working on, is showing more of like the nuts and bolts and articles like that, showing upcoming brands that are coming up, within the blading scene. And so if you have a new brand or you have some new products, feel free to shoot it to us, and we'll try to highlight you as best we can. We have lots of upcoming reviews we'd love to highlight, and do more product reviews on our sites. And that's things that we always want to highlight, hardworking individuals within our community. And if you'd love to be shown on the site or in the print issue, feel free to get in contact with us. We'd love to see it.
All right, you heard that. Go ahead, support BMAG. If you have any advertising you want to do, if you run a brand, I know you guys are watching this, make sure to at least be in the book,
Right.
and support it. It's something that has to happen. 25th anniversary. Support the BMAG project. Contact Kevin. His email address is in the description below. So this is going to conclude our interview. Do you have any shout outs you want to do?
Yeah, shout out you, especially Jan. Thank you for having me on the podcast. I'm very honored to be a guest on this incredible podcast. I feel very honored. You've been a pillar within the community for so many years, so thank you for wanting to get me included within this. Shout out to all the people that have helped me over the years, especially my wife, Brittany Little. Thank you for putting up with me having a crazy life, being away, from home at all various days of the year. She's put up with me, and she's my rock, and she keeps me going. So I love her. Shout out my kids, Cannon and Isley, and all the people that have kind of helped me over the years. Everyone on the Sic Urethane team, the BMAG family, everyone that's kind of helped me. I could ramble on for years for all the people that have helped me get to where I'm at. I'm incredibly blessed and fortunate to be where I'm at, as far as helping blading and shining a spotlight within the community. And there's just so many people I could thank, but I just want to say thank you to everyone that's helped me in any way, shape, or form over the years. It's not taken for granted, and I appreciate you. And blading is a very incredible community. It's helped me persevere and kept me driven over the years, and it's something that's really given me drive and a feeling of purpose that I don't know I would have gotten had it not been for skating. So it's saved my life in lots of ways, and a lot of it has to do with the friends and the community that I've encountered over the years. And y'all are the people that are keeping me going, so thank you, all of y'all, in one way, shape, or form. If I've met you over the years, thank you. And that's really pretty much it. I'm very, very blessed to have, so many friends and people in the skating community that have, I've been in contact with. And man, it's incredible. So just knowing that I'm part of this vast network of incredible, talented, beautiful people, yeah, I'm just very fortunate to be a part of it. And yeah, that's all I got.
That's amazing. The stoke is real. Well, Kevin, I really appreciate you joining me on this episode of the Then and Now Blading interview series and podcast. So this series is available both on YouTube in video form, and I do overlay some photos and videos of relevant things to what we're discussing. And it's available as a podcast on all podcast streaming services. Just search for Then and Now Blading. You can also go to thenandnowblading.com for links to all the podcast streaming services we're on, as well as the YouTube and the social media. I also have a Patreon page. If you want to support this channel, visit the Patreon page. You'll get exclusive content, first views, different stuff, some perks. Check it out. It's in the description below. Follow me, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Thank you very much for watching this show. Goodbye, Kevin. Goodbye, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you next time at the Then and Now interview series.